Welcome to my first Fragment Friday. Last week I saw Gail at her blog, Ticket to Anywhere blog. I want to give a little cheat sheet here. She did a really neat thing. She read a fragment of a book that she was reading, and I loved that. So I wanted to give that a try. I will put on my blog who this originated with. I need to do a little bit of investigation on that, but for today, in order to get me to do a Fragment Friday, I'm going to give Gail the kudos on that one, getting me started. My current read today is called Beautiful Demons. In my mailbox blog last week, I told you about a new series from Sarra Cannon. I'm calling her Sarah. It's S-A-R-R-A, Sarah, I don't know. Anyway, Sarra Cannon, and it's the Peachville Demon series. This is the first one in the book. So far, I really like it. I'm not too terribly far into it, but I already have a really good feeling about it. But I do want to share with you this scene where the main character, if you've seen in my mailbox, I told you about this main character who has gone from foster home to foster home her entire life because of accidents that keep happening in the homes. And of course, it's not her fault. There are some powers that she's unaware of that she has, and things seem to happen around her, but that makes her foster family not want to be around her. So her caseworker has sent her to a juvenile type home where it's kind of like a last case scenario for her before she goes to a juvenile detention center. But she lives in this really cool home with some other girls her own age in this town of Peachville. She's about to start high school there, and she's gone with one of the other girls to a shop in town to get ready for her first day of school on Monday. And so they've gone into this one shop, and she is meeting one of the other students at the high school. Backpacks, by the way. And it's this guy. I personally like the Hello Kitty one with the pink flowers. I looked up to see a tall blonde guy leaning against the wall watching me. He had a smirk on his face, and I wondered if he was making fun of me. He was definitely cute, but in a different way from the boy I'd seen earlier at Shadowford. The other guy, Jackson, was very rebel without a cause, while this guy was all-American pretty boy. I picked up the pink bag and held it out toward him, then closed one eye as if picturing him wearing it. Yeah, I can see that. It brings out the natural rosiness of your cheeks. He laughed and grabbed the bag from my hand, then placed it back on the rack. Here, he said, most of the girls around here wear our school colors, blue, like this one. But what if I'm not like most other girls? Ah, rebel, nice, he said. A straight piece of hair fell across his forehead as he leaned down to get a different bag. His eyes were as blue as the summer sky. Well, what about black with blue stripes? You're all about me getting to wear the school colors. What are you, some kind of backpack ambassador for the local team? His eyes sparkled when he laughed, sending a little jolt of energy through my body. What were the odds of me meeting two crush-worthy guys my age on my first day here? This town was looking better by the minute. Sort of, he said. I'm the quarterback of the Demons football team. Well, that certainly explained his muscular body and tall frame. I'd never dated a jock before, but suddenly I wasn't so opposed to school pride. Well, in that case, I better take your advice. I chose a black bag with blue flowers embroidered on the outside, and he placed his index finger on his lips and pretended to study it. It's a little girly, but I suppose it'll do. He smiled again, then held his hand out to me. I'm Drake, by the way. Lori's my sister. Sometimes I come by and help her unload boxes on the weekends after church. The touch of his hand on mine made me feel warm from head to toe. I'm Harper. You just moved here, he asked. Yeah, I said. My face felt hot, and would he care that I lived at Shadowford? I was sure everyone in town knew what kind of place it was, and I wasn't expecting it to earn me any popularity points. It was only a matter of time before he found out, but I certainly didn't want to offer up bonus information. I'm from Atlanta. Cool, he said. We don't get a lot of new people here. It'll be nice to get some new blood. I was about to ask him more about the Demons football team when Agnes bumped into me, sending candles flying. Crap, sorry, Harper, I wasn't watching where... And her voice cut out as she noticed Drake standing there. I bit down to help her pick up the candles she'd dropped. Do you two know each other? Oh, hey, Drake, Agnes said, standing. Her pale skin was flushed pink, and her breathing was uneven. You did an awesome job at the game Friday night. I was there right up front cheering you on. Drake's eyebrows came together slightly as he looked from me to Agnes, then back again. I knew that look, and my heart fell. So you live at Shadowford, he asked. I tried to act like it was no big deal. I pulled my shoulder back. Yeah, just moved in today. He looked around as if he were trying to find a way out of the situation. I gotta run, he said, backing away. Nice to meet you. Oh, and Agnes, make sure you pay for that stuff, especially if you broke any of those candles. As Drake rushed off toward the back room, I stood there feeling like the victim of a drive-by. What had just happened? Was he really that stuck up? I'd experienced the cold shoulder treatment in the past when people found out I was an orphan or a foster kid, but never anything quite as blatant as Drake's flirt and bolt. What was Drake talking to you about? Agnes asked. I sighed and helped Agnes collect the rest of her candles and put them into my bag. I don't know, backpacks, I guess. Isn't he gorgeous? He's the most popular senior boy in school. Good looking, crazy rich, and even more important, completely single. He's also an asshole, I mumbled. Agnes looked around. Be quiet, she whispered. You shouldn't say things like that in a sister's store. Besides, he's not like that. Were you paying attention at all just now? He was over here basically flirting with me. Then when you walked over here and he realized I was from Shadowford, he turned into a grade-A jerk and got the hell away from us. In my book, that makes him a stuck-up asshole. I doubt he was flirting with you anyway, she said. Guys like that only date cheerleaders. In movies, maybe. Agnes looked at me curiously, as if I had no idea how the world really worked. And end scene. Again, I am very interested in this book, so at this point, I would recommend you giving it a try, and I look forward to a full review whenever I finish. Happy Fragment Friday!